Welcome to our lecture online. Once we measured what type of star we're dealing with by measuring the intensity or the transmission of the light from the star through various filters, we have what we call the B-V color index. And here we have an example, just like in the last video. For Regal, the B-V index was minus 0.03. For the Sun, it was 0.656. And for Sirius, we had mentioned that before, but we're including it here. We have both the B-V and the U-B index. So this is blue minus visible, ultraviolet minus blue, and it's 0.00 and minus 0.05. So then we need what we call a color index table. Now the color index table is correct for main sequence stars, and it turns out that Regal is no longer a main sequence star, and we'll see in just a moment why. There's seemingly some strange things going on there when we do the comparison, but first let's use the Sun as an example. We have a B-V color index of 0.656, so we go to the column of B-V and we find the number here. Now notice we have 0.58 and 0.81, so it falls in between the 0.58 and the 0.81, which means that our Sun is somewhere between a G0 and a K0 star. Well, if we do the proper extrapolation for the Sun, we're dealing with a G2 class star. And so that means that we're dealing with a yellowish star, and that's what the Sun is. Seen from the Earth's atmosphere, from within the Earth's atmosphere, it looks yellow. If we do the same for Regal, notice that a minus 0.03, that puts us right above the A0. So somewhere between a B9 and an A0, and it turns out that is not at all what Regal is. Regal is a blue giant that is now going into the transition of a red giant stage, and so therefore the numbers seem off. There's no way that Regal, as big and bright as it is, would fit into that particular category, and that's why you need to make sure that we're dealing with main sequence stars and not with some other type star. So what we mean then is, instead of just strictly going by this table, we also have to take into account the spectral type of the star, and in case that it's becoming a red giant, notice red giants become bigger, their surface temperature begins to drop, which means they're going to drop on the color index table and no longer truly represent the type of star that they are, unless you take into account the type that they are as well. But if we then take a look at Sirius, which is the brightest star in the sky, it's part of the constellation Canis Major, notice it has a B-V index of 0 and a U-B index of minus 0.05. The reason why I have both of them up there is because you can see that when you use different indexes and different differences, you don't always get the same type of star. So based on the B-V index at 0, that puts it somewhere between minus 0.02 and 0.3. So with other words, it's not quite an A0, it's probably kind of like an A1. So based upon the B-V color index, Sirius would be classified as an A1 star. But then, if we take the U-B index at minus 0.5, it puts it a little bit higher at kind of like, it looks like more like a B9 type of star. So instead of a A1, it would become a B9. Now Sirius is probably closer to this type of star, so therefore the B-V index seems to get a more accurate result in the type of star that it is. So you can see again, it's not an absolute science. Absolute meaning you get the exact value. You get kind of a close value and then go with it, and then you look at some of the other things that you need to take into account, radial velocities. Then you also need to take into account the reddening of the light coming to us from different locations. If there's the kind of stuff in space that kind of blocks out the light to some extent and blocks out some of the red light or some of the other light so that the red begins to shine through better. So you need to take other things into account just to make sure you get as accurate of a picture as possible. But then if we take a look at the final column right here, that's then also associated with the calculated surface temperature based upon the color index. So for the Sun being a G2, it would be a little bit cooler than 5940, which is about correct because the Sun's temperature is just below 5,800 Kelvin. And if we take a look at Sirius as being an A1, that means that the temperature of Sirius is somewhere around 9,750 Kelvin, which is very close to the predicted or actual calculated value of the surface temperature of Sirius. So you can see that the color index gives you a really good idea with telling you what kind of star you're dealing with, and it gives you a good idea as to what the surface temperature of the star is. Once we know the surface temperature and we know the spectral class of the star, then it becomes very easy to come up with the luminosity using the HR diagram. So that's where we're going to go next. But before we do that, we should also show you a way in which the temperatures are calculated from the color index table. So stay tuned and we'll show you how to do that as well.
People interested in this?
People that are interested in astronomy are very interested in this. You know what's unique about this is that most of the time they give you a quick calculation of how to calculate the distance to the star by taking the absolute magnitude and the apparent magnitude, and here it is. But they don't ever tell you how they get to that point, right? How do you know the absolute magnitude and how do you know the apparent magnitude of a star? You need to go through this process first. And so that's why this is important.
I thought when you were doing the distances, remember a few weeks ago we did some videos on calculating distance?
Yes.
With that, whoever that guy's name is, I can't remember, or maybe not the person's name, but.
With the Hubble constant?
Was it Hubble constant? I can't remember it.
Yeah, we did some videos on calculating the distances to stars and distance to galaxies and so forth. So there are other methods, but this is specifically to stars in our own galaxy, and specifically to the main sequence type stars. And so it gives you a little bit more input as to what exactly an astronomer goes through before it can actually make the distance calculation.
So this is used for our own galaxies?
Only stars within our own galaxy that are main sequence stars, yes. Yes, that is a good question, yeah. Yeah, if you want to look at galaxies far away, you need Hubble constant and the different techniques, Cepheid variables. There's all kinds of techniques to, yeah. Oh, that's what you're looking for, yeah. No, this is very different. This is trying to figure out the distance of stars, like for example Sirius, which is a little like 8.5 light years from us. How do we know that? Well, this is how we do that.